This is an SKN Newsline feature presentation.
I'm Andre Hugh and welcome to this special edition of St. Kitts Nevis Votes 2020. We are out on the road, on the streets in this special edition. We're giving you highlights of Nomination Day 2020. Now, there were 11 constituencies, there were 11 candidates from each party nominating, so you're looking at 22 candidates nominating for this June 5th, 2020 elections. SK Newsline, with the assistance of ZIZ TV and also with the assistance of Nevis Newscasts on the island of Nevis, were able to compile the various highlights of the different nomination day activities in the various constituencies. So we're going to present that for the entire show. Today we'll be focusing on highlights of Nomination Day. The St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party has filed an injunction to have the state of emergency removed and to get airtime on ZIZ Broadcasting. In a press release issued on Nomination Day, the party, through its representatives Conrad Maynard, Marcella Liebert and Denzel Douglas, served the Attorney General and ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation with a constitutional claim filed in the High Court of St. Kitts and Nevis on the 22nd and 27th of May, seeking an injunction against the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and ZIZ Broadcasting for infringement of the rights and liberties of the Labour Party, its candidates and supporters. These documents were served on the Attorney General at 9:17 a.m. and on ZIZ at 9:35 a.m. The claim calls for an urgent hearing of the court and seeks a declaration that the state of emergency resolutions published by the government on April 18th and May 13th are unconstitutional and thus null and void, and of no effect as it was passed contrary to Section 19(7) of the Constitution, which requires a specific period to be stated. Additionally, the Labour Party representatives have asked the court to declare that the COVID-19 emergency regulations published by the government on May 8th are unlawful, disproportionately restrictive, and discriminatory against the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party and its supporters. The release said these laws enacted by the Harris administration violate the fundamental rights and freedoms of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and were made purely for the purpose of limiting the said rights and freedoms of the opposition St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party and its supporters, in an attempt to give an unfair advantage to the government in the upcoming parliamentary elections. All current future measures, including closed borders and mandatory quarantine to protect public health or prevent a second wave of COVID-19, can be effectively managed under the Public Health Act, the release added. The Labour Party claims that over the last 9 days since the announcement of the elections, despite the emergency regulations being in place, members of the government and their supporters have been gathering in large numbers for political meetings, both indoors and outdoors. They claim the police have been directed by their superiors to suppress similar opposition activity. This, the party said, is a colossal infringement of the democratic rights of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, its candidates and supporters, which will not be tolerated. Regarding the injunction against ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, the party said the government-owned media house has been violating its rights to equality before the law, freedom of speech and expression, freedom of association and freedom from discrimination. The party claims ZIZ discriminates against its supporters. As a result of their political views, giving an unfair advantage to parties that form the government. To date, ZIZ refuses to cover its news, political views and events of the Labour Party or to give equal access to the only state-owned media on the same terms as the government, the release stated. ZIZ has since responded to these claims in a statement by the chairman of the board, Lester Hanley.
ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation is pleased to announce the historic news that equal broadcasting time will be provided to the 5 registered political parties and any nominated independent candidate ahead of the June 5th general elections in St. Kitts and Nevis. From today, Wednesday, May 27th, Nomination Day, up to 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, June 4th, ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation will allocate a total of 8 hours, which will be 480 minutes of paid programming to each registered political party and nominated independent candidate. For the first time, political ads from all political parties and candidates will be aired on ZIZ. ZIZ will also allocate an additional 30 minutes per day, free of charge, to each registered political party and independent candidate, the cost of which will be borne by the state as a gesture of goodwill.
Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris has shrugged off a legal challenge mounted by members of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. In addressing a virtual public meeting on Wednesday, Dr. Harris chided what he calls a poor attempt to thwart the June 5th general elections by instituting a constitutional challenge to the state of emergency and COVID emergency regulations.
If they have trust in the people, I challenge them. Withdraw their nonsense that they have put calling injunction. Go to the people with your case. And the people of St. Kitts and Nevis must be the final arbiters of justice and democracy. And on the 5th of June, they will deliver the knockout punch to the Douglas Labour Party.
The Labour Party claimed the state of emergency is contrary to law and is null, void, and of no effect. They also argue that the state of emergency measures are discriminatory against the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis officially responded in a statement from the Office of the Attorney General in which it disagreed with the claimants. The statement reads in part, quote, "On March 28, 2020, the Governor-General, Sir S.W. Tapley-Seton, proclaimed a state of emergency after St. Kitts and Nevis confirmed its first 2 cases of COVID-19. The emergency regulations were instituted to fight this emergency. These regulations were put in place on the advice of medical experts on the ground that the measures outlined therein were reasonably required in the interest of public order and public health to combat COVID-19 in the Federation. These measures apply equally to everyone in the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis." End quote. The hearing of the matter is set for Thursday, May 28th. Audrey Huey, SKN Newsline. The Nevis Reformation Party candidate Dr. Kelvin Daly and Ms. Janice Williams of Brown Hill have filed an application in the High Court to have the injunction placed on the new electoral boundaries to be removed. That injunction was placed on the new electoral boundaries by the Privy Council in the Boundaries case in 2015.
We filed an application to the court to have the injunction that was put on by the Privy Council back in 2015. Our application is simply to have that injunction lifted so that we can contest the elections that are due on June 5th on the 2015 boundaries. I'm really surprised that the government had not made a decision on which boundaries we were running on. And so we could not wait anymore. We were really hoping that they would have led the way, but clearly they had a different objective. So we felt it was in the best interest of the people to prompt the court to decide to lead us in the debate as to which boundaries we will be contesting the elections on.
But why not file this application before nomination day?
That's a difficult question to answer because, like I said, we were really hoping that the leadership would have made a decision. And these matters are not easily handled. A lot of persons in the Federation are reluctant to take matters like this. We had to search high and low for somebody who was willing to take on the matter. We understand why. I mean, once you think of a matter against the government, you become a target. And so we had to search really hard to find somebody who was brave enough to take on the matter. So it took us a while. The preparation took a while. Like I said, we really anticipated that the government would have made a decision, even before the dissolution of Parliament, to decide or tell the people which boundaries were being contested on.
Dr. Daly said if the injunction is removed, it will not confuse the electorate, as voters would just need to vote where they're registered. How the votes would be counted would differ. He said only Mark Brandley have so far been served by the court, as there was difficulty serving the other applicants on St. Kitts, who were party to the Boundaries case from 2015.
But from what I'm hearing from our people, that they have had a difficulty trying to serve the notice to the Honourable Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister. They have been physically prevented from delivering those notices. So we have served on 3 of the 5. The other 2 have really made it difficult.
The original applicants to the 2015 boundaries case were Mark Brantley, Timothy Harris, Sam Conda, and Sean Richard. Efforts to reach Mr. Brantley for a comment were unsuccessful. The basis for this application by Dr. Daly and Ms. Williams is that the original applicants have allowed the injunction to remain in place for over 4 years, with no indication of having the underlying issues resolved, which constitutes an abuse of the process. The application also argues that it is unconstitutional for the 1989 boundaries to still be valid based on the inequalities of registered voters in Nevis 9 and Nevis 10. Based on the 1989 boundaries, Nevis 9 currently has more than 8,000 registered voters, whereas Nevis 10 has less than 2,000. However, in the 2015 electoral boundaries, the number of registered voters in both Nevis 9 and Nevis 10 is about the same, the application argues. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Stay tuned to all things COVID-19 with SKN Newsline. Download our Android mobile app, search SKN Newsline in the Google Play Store, and tap COVID-19 Stories, and watch every story we have ever done on the COVID-19 pandemic. You can also visit our website, www.sknewsline.com. Tap on the COVID-19 link and watch all our COVID-19 stories in our YouTube playlist. SKN Newsline, keeping you abreast of all things St. Kitts and Nevis and COVID-19. Continue our highlights of Nomination Day activity on May 27th as we continue to present this special edition of St. Kitts Nevis Votes 2020. A total of 23 candidates were nominated Wednesday for the June 5th general elections in St. Kitts and Nevis. The St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party and the parties comprising the Team Unity Coalition each fielded candidates to contest the 8 seats on St. Kitts. An independent, Jason Thomas, was nominated to contest constituency number 4. On Nevis, the two major parties there, the Concerned Citizens Movement and the Nevis Reformation Party, each fielded 3 candidates. All the Labour Party candidates showed up at 10 a.m. to be nominated. Leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, Dr. Denzel Douglas, after the nomination exercise at the Deep Bay Police Station, alleged that plans were afoot to prevent him from being nominated.
Harris recognizes that he's losing the election, and to counter that, he seems to want people to react and just have good reason to appear to arrest him. But we are smarter than that. And so that is why my lawyer is here.
Dr. Harris, leader of Team Unity and the People's Labour Party, was nominated at the Tabernacle Police Station in St. Christopher No. 7. Dr. Harris expressed confidence in his political campaign so far.
And we are confident that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, having evaluated our performance, will realize that we are best placed to continue to take St. Kitts and Nevis to the next stage of development and progress. So we remain very confident, very optimistic that come June, on election day, the 5th of June, that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis will return the Team Unity to government again.
Other candidates nominated are Constituency 1, Ian Liburd from the People's Action Movement, and Dr. Jeffrey Hanley for the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. In Constituency number 2, Marcella Liburd of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party and Janelle Powell of the People's Action Movement. Number 3, Akila Byron Nisbet of the People's Labour Party and Conris Maynard of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. In Constituency 4, Lindsay Grant of the People's Action Movement and Steve Rensford of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. Also contesting number 4, independent candidate Jason Thomas. In constituency number 5, Sean Richards, leader of the People's Action Movement, and Kenny Douglas of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. In constituency 6, Denzel Douglas of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party and Kevin Williams of the People's Labour Party. In constituency number 7, Leon Nato Nelson of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party and Timothy Harris of the People's Labour Party. In constituency number 8, Eugene Hamilton of the People's Action Movement and Dr. Terence Drew of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. On Nevis, Nevis 9, Mark Brantley of the Concerned Citizens Movement and Kelvin Daly of the Nevis Reformation Party. In number 10, Bjorn Hanley of the Nevis Reformation Party and Eric Evelyn of the Concerned Citizens Movement. And in number 11, Patrice Nisbet of the Nevis Reformation Party and Alexis Jeffers of the Concerned Citizens Movement. Audrey Huey, SKN Newsline.
St. 6 candidates in Nevis have been duly nominated to contest the National Assembly elections on June 5, 2020. On the morning of Wednesday, May 27th, Rohan Claxton, returning officer for the constituency of Nevis 10, received the nomination of Beyond Hanley of the Nevis Reformation Party, NRP, at the nomination station, the David Freeman Center of Excellence. Hanley was nominated by Myron C. Liebert of Rice's Village and Shakila Morton of Hanley's Road.
My hopes is to deliver constituency number 10 in a massive landslide victory come next week Friday, so we can usher in many of the plans that I would have spoken about, and we can bring back Gingerland, rebuild Gingerland, and develop Gingerland into the future.
The returning officer for the constituency of Nevis 10 also received the nomination of the Honorable Eric Evelyn of the Concerned Citizens Movement, CCM. Mr. Evelyn was nominated by Deslin Evelyn of Hanley's Road and Burley R. Walwyn of Hard Times.
I'm exceptionally proud to be nominated as a member of the Dream Team of the Concerned Citizens Movement for the federal election slated for June the 5th, 2020. Of course, I am a member of the Nevis Island Assembly and a member of the Nevis Island Administration. I think that campaigning on my record. I've done a lot in the past 2.5 years, and there's a lot more to be done. And of course, we in the Nevis 10 St. George area, we will be looking for the usual support of the persons from St. George's. I am very excited once again to be on the ticket of the CCM, and we did it in 2017, and I have absolutely no fear that we will do it again in overwhelming style on June the 5th.
In the constituency of Nevis 11, returning officer Ermelita Elliott received the nomination of the incumbent, the Honorable Patrice Nisbet of the NRP, at the nomination station, the Cotton Ground Community Center. Nominating Nisbet were Idona Brown of Jessop's Village and Derica C.H. Parry of Shaw's Road.
The people of Nevis 11 would know that I have served them for the last 20 years in the federal parliament, and they have always reposed their trust and confidence in me because they know that as a legislator, I have been able to ensure that a number of programs, a number of policies have been implemented that have protected them and that have brought tremendous benefits to them as a constituency and as individuals. And so, with their continued support in these upcoming federal elections on the 5th of June, I would want to continue the partnership that we have built for the last 20 years in improving lives, livelihoods, standard of living, quality of education for all the constituents in Nevis 11 and by extension the good people of Nevis. And so I'm asking my constituents to carefully consider what is at stake in these elections and make the right choice and vote for the candidates of the Nevis Reformation Party when they head to the polls on the 5th of June.
Also contesting that seat will be the Honorable Alexis Jeffers of the CCM. Jeffers was nominated by Stanley Williams of Newcastle and Nelia Maynard of Jessop's Village.
And I do believe that we will provide what has been lacking over the last 20 years, in that we will make people and the enhancement of the human resource capacity in this constituency a major pillar of our representation. We also want to ensure that the citizens and residents of Nevis 11 are a part of the national debate. I do believe our message is one that the constituents of Nevis 11 can certainly hold on to, knowing fully well that I have done a marvelous job of representing the constituency of St. James, Nevis 4 in the Nevis Island Assembly. So it is time to go to the next level and ensure that we can bring the type of influence and impact that we're looking for as citizens in Nevis 11 and also the entire Nevis as a whole. So our campaign is going well, and our campaign will certainly prevail in the end as being victorious, because people are looking to start, or persons are looking to move in a new direction, turn over a new page and certainly usher in a new era in this constituency where we can be proud citizens of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
At the Albertha Payne Community Center at Bath Village, the nomination station for the constituency of Nevis 9, returning officer Kevin Barrett received the nomination of the incumbent, the Honorable Mark Brantley of the CCM. Brantley was nominated by Lorna Hunkins of Marion Heights and Dennis Brown of Brown Hill.
I've just been nominated to serve again the good people of Number 9. They've been very kind to me over the past several years. Since 2007, I've been the person whom they've returned to represent them in St. Kitts. I'm hopeful that on June 5th, the people will continue to maintain the momentum, to keep the momentum, recognizing the excellent work that we've done and the excellent quality of representation that we have been able to achieve in Bastille. We need a strong voice in St. Kitts, and the Concerned Citizens Movement provides that strong voice.
That seat will also be contested by Dr. Kelvin Daly of the NRP, who was nominated by Saneldo Willett of Hamilton Estate and Devon Cornelius of Lower Stony Grove.
I've just completed my application to be a candidate for Nevis 9. Today is the end of the beginning of another process. And I am pleased that we have come through this matter unscathed. We are ready to finish the race, which is on June 5th. And I'm happy that I'll be given the opportunity to represent, to offer proper representation, not only to Nevis 9, but the entire country of Nevis and St. Kitts.
All the candidates signed the statutory declaration of a person nominated as a candidate for election as a member of the National Assembly, while the persons who nominated them signed the statutory declaration of a person nominating a candidate for election as a member of the National Assembly.
And that's how we end today's edition of St. Kitts Nevis Votes 2020. I'm Andre Huey. Thank you so much for watching. This was a special edition of the program as we looked at highlights of the candidates that were nominated for the June 5th elections. In our next broadcast, we'll have a focus on Nevis constituency number 10 as part of our constituency profile. That will be our next show coming up tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and do stay tuned to SKN Newsline, your outlet and your media outlet for elections 2020. I'm Andre Huey. Enjoy the rest of your day.